good evening, everyone, all the attendees and panelists. Today is another session on costing. The series of costing continues, and we all know Shekhar Joshi sir. Last two sessions have been amazing. I've been personally trying to, implement those things in my operations. So I'll just take a minute of read out sir's profile, and then we can start. So Sir's education qualification is MCom, LLB, FCMA, MBA, and Sir has an experience of 35 plus years. Till September 2011, he's practicing as cost accountant in various fields as above. Also was partner in Joshi Apte and Associates, cost accountants. September 2006 to September 2011, General Manager Finance with Shapurji, Palonji and Co. and within the group. June 2004 to August 2006, Virtual CFO and consultation on mergers and acquisition. April 1992 to December 2003, he was with John Crane UK Limited, Director of Finance for Middle East, Africa and Asia. May 1990 to March 1990, Masafi Mineral Water Company, UAE. From November 1983 to March 1989, he was with Walid Foods Company, Muscat, Sultanate of Oman. From November 1980 to September 1983, he worked with Sharp and Tennant and as a semi-senior audit. He is also independent director on ANI Integrated Services, NSE, that's manpower supplier in India and abroad. Dinesh Engineers Limited, the BSE listed company, which is optic fiber cable service provider. A very impressive profile. An amazing experience. It's reading. I am sweating.
No, thank you very much for your compliments. I mean, yes, it is something like, a finance person can dream of. I mean, I will just add something to that, which, some other people are joining in, is I have had a very distinct experience when I was with John Crane International, which was a Fortune 500 company. And in those 15 years I was with them, very distinct experience that twice in my life with them, we acquired two of our competitors internationally. And twice we were sold or we were acquired by our competitors internationally. And believe me, I mean, it is something like amazing experience. I can share with you sometimes when we meet. Very small instances, but something that makes you I mean, is this just life? Because we don't really expect this in life. And so let's go. I mean, it's already in. So
we'll start.
We'll start. I think. Let me see if I can. Yeah. So hello everyone again. The costing man is here, talking to you, telling you about costing. I know many times costing has been mistaken for accounting, and apart from its speciality as costing, what we are going to talk about as costing, which is used as management tool. We did discuss about basics of certain costing concepts. We talked about how the costing is essential, at the same time applied in two different concepts, in the sense manufacturing industry and service industry. Having understood these two and its relevance to the volume, to the profit and growth of the company, now we are going to talk about one particular tool, which there are so many tools in costing, including the one we briefly discussed about, like break-even analysis and CVP and various other we touched upon. Now, one of the very important tools that is being discussed and being considered at a matured level is called activity-based costing. It's very important from the viewpoint of from the viewpoint of decision making. It is called activity-based costing because in the entire costing system, it gets divided, subdivided, and analyzed for each activity which is making the company. Now, these activities are actually collected in a pool, then pool is collected and connected to the product and drivers and everything which we'll talk about. But before that, we will just have a brief background about this, that generally in costing, what was considered as absorption costing or traditional costing was that what is the cost of production unit? Okay, you need 10 people at 200 rupees. You need machinery whose depreciation is 300 rupees. And what is the production is 500 rupees. So 500 divided by 500 is your, 1 rupee is your cost of production, which is called absorption, which is the traditional way of calculating. Now, having done this, as I mentioned in my last lecture, lots of things get disguised when you're doing good. When everything gets going, everything looks beautiful, everything looks acceptable. And as long as your financial bottom line is green, positive, and growing, normally you don't want to get into the nuances of how the cost is built. So moving from traditional absorption costing, which I explained, is sum total of total expenses for production unit and then divided by the production quantity used to give you the average cost. Now, this used to happen until, let's say, 1980s or mid 1980s, where all the costs were collected in 3 different categories. The first category was production, the second was administration, and third one was selling and distribution. Now, having done this, people were not very happy that this is not a very transparent and this is not sounding very scientific way of really doing the costing. Now, Robert Kaplan and David Cooper, I'm sure you know these names as management students. They have contributed a lot, and they started analyzing and understanding what the costs should be defined as. Now, they also confirmed that traditional way of doing the costing, traditional thinking of arriving at the profit or gross margin at the factory level was not something that was giving them a very comfortable feeling, saying that if the company does have various activities, company does have certain drivers, company does have some ups and downs where products should be costed, products should be analyzed, and that should help making the decisions. So Robert Kaplan and David Cooper, they devised activity-based costing. Now, this costing is mainly what we are discussing today is in manufacturing or processing industry. However, the ABC costing can be, ABC concept can be applied to service industry with small variances that you can adjust to, and also what results what kind of data is available, what results you are expecting, and how the competition is to be analyzed and compared with your own performances. Now, by CIMA's official terminology, I'm going to go a little slow in and a little fast in certain terminology, certain definition. ABC, activity-based costing, is a cost attribution to cost units, on the basis of benefits received from individual activities, right? I'm going to make this little more in detail, but just to give you an idea of what this small definition is it's an attribution of cost to cost units. So every production, every output has a cost, and a realistic attribution of collecting and attributing, I'm not saying absorbing or connecting, that attributing those costs. And when we talk about two examples that I have taken, you will realize how relevant it is. And what is important is on the basis of benefit received from indirect activities. Some of them are direct, some of them are indirect, but it's a collection of costs. It's attribution of cost to units that you're identifying, and what is the benefit received. Now, activity is an event that incurs the cost. For example, we have a purchase department which processes purchase orders. So preparing and processing purchase orders is an activity. Cost object is defined as anything to do with separate measure of the cost desired or required. Cost object is the product that for which you have to identify the cost. An activity cost pool, right, which is very important. I'm going to describe these a little more in detail because these become relevant when we are doing the example. There are two examples only. Activity pool, for example, a purchase department may be a cost pool in which there are probably, let's say, more activities. First activity could be to get the indents. Second activity could be to prepare a purchase order. Third activity could be to follow up the purchase order. Fourth activity could be receiving the order. And as you all can understand, the purchase orders or getting indent, maybe you might be getting 500 indents, out of which you will raise five purchase orders. So activity pool will have different types of activities in one pool. Cost driver, very important concept that came out of activity-based ABC analysis, is any factor or activity that has a direct cause and effect relationship with the resources consumed. I'll give you a very general example here. You appoint a salesman which has to deal only with ONGC, right? ONGC is one of your customers, and you appoint a salesman who only deals with ONGC orders, ONGC activities. So the cost driver for him becomes the activities of ONGC. In other words, the salesman's cost over there should not be taken as a whole and then combined and then apportioned on the basis of sales value or sales volume, whatever it is. Cost driver becomes a very important concept in ABC analysis. Then becomes a cost unit. So of course, an item of production, as I mentioned, and of course, service, which I said that it can be applied to. Cost accounting is a process. Direct costs, which are directly attributed to, associated with the manufacturing process. Indirect costs, we have talked about it. Other relating concepts that we have is direct costing system, traditional absorption costing, which I mentioned, that where you collect all the costs and then do the allocation. And then what we are going to talk about is activity-based costing system, which is latest thing that is applied. Let me put a caveat here, is that it is still not included in GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles, but which is very widely used in decision making by the managers. Now, I'm not going to spend time on this, but there are certain defects of traditional costing system where, generally all the costs used to get summed up in one box. Then sometimes products with high profit margins used to subsidize to, I'll give an example here. is your marketing cost generally gets apportioned on the basis of sales value, right? So what happens is that if one product, I'll repeat, it is apportioned on the basis of sales value. So whether the product is making profit or loss, whether the product is is properly costed or not, if the sales is there, the cost of marketing cost should be apportioned to that. Now, actually, let's take a simple example here just to describe the traditional defect of traditional costing system is that you have 5 products, you do advertising, and from the advertising of 5 products, you get orders for 2 products, which are like, profit making. But at the same time, you are apportioning that advertisement cost on all the 5 products because all the 5 products. So here the target is what is the driver, right? Now, lastly, a product cannot compete. When you do this generalization, it is very difficult under traditional costing system to make the competition achievable because of faults of these systems. ABC active-based costing system allocates overheads cost to multiple activity cost pools. I will explain that, and assigns the activity cost pools to products or services by means of cost drivers. Cost drivers becomes very, very important factor here. Again, taking the example of salesman for ONGC, his cost driver is orders coming from ONGC. Now, as a process, I was thinking of putting it slightly later, but I thought to understand the logic of how it operates, how it becomes effective, is that you go backwards, right? You identify the product that is produced. The product could be A, B, C, D, up to whatever products you have. Now you identify cost pools. For example, you have shirts, trousers, and blankets in a textile industry. Then you identify cost pools. The cost pools could be stitching, singeing, weaving. These are the cost pools which are required to produce these products. Now, each pool will have activity. For example, if you're talking about weaving, the weaving will have different activities of putting the yarn in, cleaning the yarn, then actual weaving, and then weaving itself will have different activities. Now we will see how all these are important to be analyzed, identified, and applied. Now these also have cost drivers. For example, if you are looking at shirt to be costed, now then you go back to the pool which is related to production of shirt, then you will see what are, for example, shirt may not require, or rather, let's say t-shirts may not require buttons to be put on the cuff, right? So we will have to see these activities and pools which are the main centers where the costs are collected. To put it simply, identify the cost object, product, identify the direct costs, which is material, labor, and direct expenses. Step 3, I'm saying this in the beginning because this is what is important in arriving at the actual correct activity-based costing. First one, cost object, then direct cost, then cost allocation, then identify overheads, which are the in the pool, compute the rate per unit, compute overheads for cost allocation of products, and compute the cost of products. We'll see how it goes. This is simply put in graphical mode, that you will have certain departments. They could be shipping, design, and setup of this. This will be activity overhead cost pool. These design, setup, and shipping, these will be the pools. These pools will have different activities. The activities will be related to number of employees. Setup will have the total number of hours spent on the cost object, and shipping will have the number of shipments that they have handled. And what they have done is product A, product B, product C, and how all these are interrelated, and how each of these pool will be supporting. For example, let's take a very general concept, is that the t-shirts are put in 5 t-shirts are put in one package, whereas when you are exporting, 1 t-shirt in 1 package, so the activity is going to be completely different. We'll see that in the example that we are seeing. Again, for reference, the activity pools in a manufacturing company, activity pools can be production, marketing, research, customer service, material handling, etc. The activity cost drivers in each pool could be number of units, setups, electricity units consumed. Then in marketing, it could be number of sales orders handled. In purchasing will be number of purchase orders processed. And in material handling, it could be material requisition, which is normally falling under stores department, right? I will go directly to the example that we are going to discuss, and probably we'll come back to a couple of slides for understanding. I will be identifying certain words from here. Alpha Limited, it's a manufacturing company, and it's got 2 products, right? Both products are manufactured on the same machines, and they use the same processes, right? The budgeted data, which is given below, is for both the products for financial year that we are going to talk about. Remember, 1 company, 2 products, both the products are using the same machines and same process. Important to understand. Now, I'm not saying they're identical products. I'm not saying that they are related products. I'm not saying they are joint products, but they are 2 different products. Now, while I'm doing the budgeting, I budget based on whatever process that I'm following. The product A, I will be producing. Now we are talking. Remember one thing. This is a difference. That first example that we are discussing, we are talking about production. The second example that we are talking about, we'll be talking about selling of those products. So let's focus on this. The budget for product A is 25,000 units, and the budget for B is 2,500 units. Interesting. For getting, or rather for selling, let's assume production is equal to sales, is assuming that to get quantities of material for these units, these products, if I have to order the material for product A, I have to raise 400 purchase orders. If I have to, because they are not the same, if I have to order the material for product B, I have to raise 200 purchase orders. Interesting. Number of setups in a manufacturing and machine setups. In product A, I have to have 150 setups. For product B, it is 100 setups, right? Having seen this, now resources required per unit. Remember, per unit is the data given. For product A, the direct material is 25 rupees and product B is 62 rupees, right? Direct labor is 10 hours for product A and also 10 hours, which is very important. I want you to remember this. 10 hours for product A, 10 hours for product B as well. And same applies to machine time, which is 5 hours each. I repeat, 1 company, 2 products, same processes, same machines. 1 product has 25,000 units budget, and then number of purchase orders raised. Common thing is that direct labor and machine hours are same for the same thing. Now here itself, we'll realize that other things remaining the same, direct material of 25 rupees versus 62.5 is going to make a difference in my cost of production, right? Now we'll see how this is relevant or how it is changing when we are applying to ABC costing. Now, the data given, the volume-based costs are 2,75,000. Purchase-related overheads, which relates to purchase orders and everything, but it is purchase-related overhead costs, not the purchase value as such, which is 3 lakhs, and setup-related, which is manufacturing. So this totals up to 11 lakh rupees. The budgeted labor is 20 rupees per hour. Now, if we take this data and divide it by whatever we are going to see later on, it is going to give us a completely different picture. However, the company is considering the system of activity-based costing, and while doing or implementing activity-based costing, what are the drivers? What are the additional factors that we have to look into? The first thing is volume-related overheads will be apportioned on the basis of machine hours. Purchase-related overheads, which is 3 lakh rupees, will be apportioned on the basis of number of purchase orders. Setup-related or machine-related or production-related on number of setups, right? These are the costs, 275, 300, 525. And we have been given what are the considerations to be given for apportioning these costs in ABC activity-based costing, right? Now, the first thing that we do on traditional absorption-based costing is that we take the production quantity, then the quantity that we have taken, the labor hours required for each unit are 10 that we have seen. So the total number of labor hours required will be 275,000, 2,75,000. And what is the total cost of factory that I have is 11 lakhs. Now, if 2,75,000 labor hours require 11 lakhs rupees to be spent, then I'm sorry, we'll just leave it there at the moment. And like in absorption costing, we will calculate what is the total machine hours required for the entire production unit. A is 1,25,000, B is 12,500 units, which makes total of 1,37,500 hours. The purchase orders are 400 and 200, which makes 600. Total setup cost, which we have seen in the initial data given, is 150 and 100, which is 250. So this is the data what we have, and this data gives us the activity and activity related costs. For example, for 1,37,000 machine hours, the cost is 2,75,000. I repeat, for 1,37,500 hours, the cost is 2,75,000, which is 2 rupees per hour. Purchase cost, purchase related, is total purchases, purchase orders are 600, for which the cost is 3 lakh rupees. So the average is 500. The third one is setup costs, which is totally 250. And the cost related to that is 5,25,000. So 5,25,000 divided by 250 is 2,100 is the cost of each activity in each pool, right? There is a pool of machine hours, total purchases and setup. Now what we have understood is this we have taken this total, then we have arrived at cost of each pool while taking the totals into account, right? Now coming back to the first one, which we thought that we will take it, and I have mentioned to you. In the traditional way of understanding, the direct material cost for product A is 25, product B is 62.50, and direct labor cost at 20 rupees per for 10 hours is 200, because they use same number of labor hours. They also use same number of overheads, which is 10 into 4, which is 40. So on a traditional calculation basis, my product A is going to cost me, I repeat, cost me 265 rupees and 302 rupees 0.50 respectively, right? Now, this is what is coming, and I mean, the obvious difference is the difference in cost of material. Now, if we see this from activity-based costing angle, right? Direct material, the cost is given per unit, which is 25 and 62.50. It won't change. We are going to calculate the cost per unit. Now, direct labors, again, it is not going to change, because every product is using 10 hours at the rate of 20, so 200 rupees each. Volume related, again, will remain the same, because 5 machine hours, that is 10 rupees, 10 rupees. What changes here is purchase related overhead costs. For 25,000 units, I need to have 400 orders. But for 2,500, I need 200 orders. Now, having arrived at this rate, because my total purchase orders process are 600, and I have arrived at a rate of 5.5 over there. I think there's some small error here of decimals. But what we differentiate here is that there is a given difference in material. There is a similarity of direct labor and volume related costs, which are based on rates given to you. At the same time, units used by each. But purchase order processing, if we take the total cost divided by total activities, and then I use 400 orders only are used for production of product A, then the average becomes 8. Whereas for 2,500 units, which is 200, I mean, if you can see the simple calculation, if we are processing 200 orders for 2,500 units, 400 should give me only 5,000, whereas it is giving me 25,000. So here, product B, the cost of purchase related activities picks up more on a value because of total value of purchase department divided by the total activities. Similarly, setup related for 25,000 units that we are talking about is at 2,100 average, which gives me total average per unit is only 12.60. Whereas at the rate of 2,100, I'm using 100 setups for 2,500 units, which averages out to 84 rupees. I'll repeat these two differences. The first difference is number of purchase orders processed for product A are lesser in average and more for product B. Similarly, setup charges, because the volume is very high, the setup charges average comes down for product A and it goes up for product B, because with lower number of order units, it has got a high value. Now, if you add up these totals, product A gives me 250.60 and product B is 396.40. 96.50. Now, what has really happened is my traditional costing was giving me product A to be at 265 rupees, which actually comes down, and whereas product B is 302.50 in the traditional costing, which goes to 396.50. Now, what is the driver for changing these costs? That is almost 9.4 rupees for product A coming down, 94 rupees cost going up, in percentage, it's like, quite a lot compared to, like, the basic cost that we have. Now, what is the purpose behind this is, let's take two scenarios. That first scenario is that you're competing with the competition, and then your salesman comes back and says, and believe me, this has happened to at least 3 customers I have visited in last probably 8 weeks. And this is what is the most important change that they should be looking at: analysis of every cost pertaining to the driver that it collects, right? If at 265 my salesman is not able to sell, and at 302 my salesman is getting higher bonus on his profitability, there is something that I have to look into, right? The real utilization of costs that I have incurred is reasonably different from the activity that I have applied and the activity that reveals what the costs should be. I hope this is very clear, because there are 3 factors that I want to repeat again. First one is that the data given is only for production. Secondly, the change in costs in 2 departments. One is purchase processing, and the other one is setting, mainly because product B is using more services of these 2 departments as compared to A, because of volume, because of cost utilization of these 2 departments. These analysis is going to help you a lot in making decisions regarding your bonus distribution, putting your thinking about the selling price of your products, thinking about the margins that you're likely to set up for your budgets, and most importantly, you are identifying the real activity of each production and each product, by which you would be able to do justice to costs that you are incurring. At the same time, you will be able to set up your right budgets. It's very important. I hope you have understood. If you have got any questions, please put them on your chat box. There is second illustration that I have taken, then we'll go a little more in detail. The first example that we took, we talked about 2 products and its utility consumption at each department. We also had certain data given about their relationship with volumes, relationship with cost of material, at the same time relationship with the utility of each, what we call it as a cost pool. Now we have a different example, right? Now this example is little more related to certain decision making, which I'm sure some of the participants are going to make use of. The XYZ company has a product AD, right? And it sells it to Alpha company. The company has, remember one thing, again, I will keep on repeating the salient points. First one is the company is XYZ. It has one product. It has one product, which is AD, and it is selling to company Alpha, right? Now, this is a general thing that we should know. Secondly, the company uses ABC system. Now, this system could be a computer system, it could be ERP system, it could be decision-making system, which is strategy systems which are available. I'll show you the list in the end. And these systems are used for decision-making on various costing that is to be done. Now, these costs, this ABC, ABC is utilized by manufacturing and selling and administration, and the costs for each department, manufacturing and selling, is 5 lakh rupees and 3 lakh rupees respectively, which totals up to 8 lakh rupees. Now, activity pool, right? Now, this system has activity pool, activity cost pool. Let's call them department at the moment, right? It has assembling units, it has processing of orders, it has supporting to the customers. Remember one thing, supporting customer is something which is very nicely explained in this particular example, and other which is not applicable. I'll repeat from here. There is a company which has a product which is sold to Alpha company. It has a system which is used by 2 departments, manufacturing and selling, and the cost of that is 5 lakhs and 3 lakhs. However, the system has cost pool, which are the departments. There are 4 departments, and these 4 departments have their activities defined in number of units, number of orders processed, number of customers, and this is something which is not disclosed or applicable here. So, having understood these points, we have been told that these units, manufacturing and selling units, their costs are related to each of these cost pool in this proportion, which is assembling 50 for manufacturing, 10 for selling and distribution, processing is 35-45, supporting is 5 and 25, and others is 10 and 20%. So this is how those costs, 5 lakh rupees and 3 lakh rupees, have been apportioned on the basis of management information collected, of utilization. Interesting here is 1,000 units of 250 orders. 1,000 units of 250 orders, and this is catering to 100 customers. I'm not going to explain it just now, because when we go to that, we'll come back. What we have seen, there is a company, it has a system which is used by 4 departments, and 4 departments have drivers, which is in terms of units and orders. Now, these system, ABC system, is utilized in percentage in this given, whereas there is one factor of 100 customers that needs to be discussed later on. Now, again, interesting. VB is one of the customers of XYZ company. VB is a customer. I just pick up salient points again. Last year, VB ordered 4 different times. They gave order 4 times. People dealing in automobile industry probably will be used to this. At the same time, it will be very useful for them to understand. Now, VB ordered 4 times, and the total units ordered were 80 units during the year, right? Then the price per unit charged is 595. I repeat, VB is the customer. He ordered 4 times. He ordered 80 units, may not be 20 into 4, but 80 units. Our selling price is 595. The direct material is 180 and direct labor cost is 50. This is the data given, because this is the data which is directly related to the product that we are talking about. I repeat what we have understood so far, because it is very, very interesting and very essential. There are one company, one product. There are 2 costs collecting points. Then there are 4 pools. There are variant of application. Then how these 2 are picking up, apportioning the cost in what percentage. And then now, having seen this, we have one customer which has placed an order of 80 units in 4 times. We charge him 595, and the material cost is 180, labor cost is 150, right? Now, this is nothing but using those percentage that 8 lakhs has been apportioned for now the cost of assembling unit for manufacturing and selling and administration support is 2,80,000. Processing 3,10,000. Customer supporting is 1 lakh, and others is 1,10,000. Right now, this is nothing but putting the same cost in a proper format. Something interesting now. The activity rates for the activity costs pool are as under. We have seen the total cost. Total costs are here, right? We have seen the units. So total cost divided by units is your cost per unit. Very simple. Important again. Supporting cost for 100 customers is 1 lakh rupees, and this is 1,000 customers which it is catering to. Now, what have you collected from the data is assembly unit cost, processing unit cost, which is 280 and 1,240 per order, and there is supporting customer cost, which is 1,000 rupees per customer. Right now, having converted this cost into units, assembling units, there are 80 units that we have sold. So it has picked up at the rate of 280, 22,400 rupees as total cost. Whereas processing cost is only 4 units because there are only 4 orders. At the rate of 1,240, it has picked up 4,960 rupees as a cost. Very interesting. What is not shown here, and it is shown as C here, is supporting customers is 1,000 rupees per customer. Now, being cost accountant, I have shown this separately in the next slide, which is how it will read. I'm sure those who are watching this would like to convert their products in this format with the background of what we have discussed. The first and foremost thing that you have is the selling price, 595 units, 595 per unit, which gives me a total revenue of 47,600. Right now, direct material cost is given to me, direct labor cost is given to me, volume related, which is 22,400. We know the calculation. Then order related 4,960. We have been given that. So if we add up all these costs for selling 80 units in 4 orders, remember 4 orders becomes very important. If there were 40 orders, the cost would have gone different. If I pick up all these costs for 80 units in 4 orders, my cost is 45,760. This is calculated scientifically, accurately, with the details that we have, including direct relation of every activity to the unit that I have sold. The cost of 22,400 and 4,960 is something which we have calculated. The cost of 14,400 and 4,000 is the cost given to us, which is cost of material per unit and labor cost per unit, which is 45,760, which is giving me a margin. This is the margin, this is the profit that I am making from the order. Right, on 47,000, I am making 1,840. Now is the important thing. If I have made a profit of 1,840, but I have a customer support overhead, which is, I mentioned here that this is 1,000 rupees per customer. Going back to our example, if I have, this is customer support. If I have appointed a salesman only to be servicing to this particular activity, I kept his cost separately. I kept his cost, like, I have probably 10 salesmen. 10 salesmen allotted to probably 10 different customers. They don't spend time or energy or cost related to any other customer than they themselves. So my estimate for that particular salesman, that particular sales activity is 1,000 rupees. So what happens? It becomes activity based costing. My cost of customer support of 1,000 rupees is only for the activity of this particular customer. So if I had used a traditional costing method, I would have probably taken total cost of selling sales department. I would have taken total cost of sales department. I would have apportioned that on the basis of sales realization that I have. So it is a cost related to this particular activity, and this particular exercise is activity based collection of cost. This 1,000 might have become 2,000 if I'm using the traditional method. This might even become 200, but that will not be the scientific way, because I have a person who's sitting in Surat, who's catering to Reliance Petro, whose expenses are collected and identified at 1,000 rupees for that particular activity. So it is an activity based on that particular driver for which I have incurred. I'll repeat, every cost that we have collected here is related to that particular activity, and there is no generalization as much as possible. There is no generalization of apportioning any cost. And if I have to validate and identify these costs, if I have to vouch saying that is this something I have really spent for this, yes, this is what we have actually spent. In other words, let us put it this way. If I have a company and if I'm making only one product and I'm taking only 80, my total capacity is only 80 units, and these are the costs that I'm incurring. I'm talking about a very hypothetical example. If I have to run this show only for, suppose these numbers were in millions. Suppose this is the only activity, then I have only one salesman, which I am apportioning to this particular customer. Then this is the only customer I am servicing. Then this becomes an activity-based costing, and I can guarantee that this pure profit of 840 cannot be challenged, or it cannot change. Very important for all the people who are into manufacturing, who wants decision making to be as perfect as possible, at the same time who have data available for this analysis to be carried on for, like, certain typical decision making products which either have a competition or to be introduced, or you want to understand the cost and take some strategic decisions on. Now, this is very, I will reiterate the first case that we talked about, and then the second case that we talked about are slightly different. First one was only for calculating the cost. Second one is directly relating the profitability that we want to target. Now, remember one thing, we are not talking about controllable, non-controllable cost. We are apportioning, we are collecting, and we are allocating real direct cost to this particular product, this particular customer, which is very important. Now, let me explain this particular concept for simple understanding. Is let's assume that we are selling laddus, right? There is a, like, okay, let's take laddus, and these laddus are costed on the basis of like, the raw material, the sugar, the chana, and whatever whatever. I mean, I'm not expert on that. But if you receive an order for 400 laddus from two of your clients, the first client says, send me all the 400 laddus. Remember, you have produced 800 laddus. Cost of production, cost of activity, whether it is frying and for order processing, everything is the same. The cost of production will remain the same, right? I'm just giving a very loose example. However, one person says, they send me the laddus, all the 400 laddus in one box, in one go to my office. It's a Dussehra on Sunday. I have to give it to them on Saturday as a gift. Give me 400 laddus, send it to my office, all 400 boxed in one box, and send it to them, right? The second customer tells you, then you give me 400 laddus, but each box there will be 10 laddus. So there will be 40 boxes. Now these 40 boxes, you send me 10 in the morning, 10 at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 10 at 4 o'clock in the evening, and 10 at 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm sure your profitability will be different, right? There will be 4 times you will be packing. There will be 4 times there will be transportation cost. There will be 4 times person will be going and coming. So the cost will remain the same, but your profit will change, right? And these will be the cost drivers, because your distribution costs, transportation cost will be your driver to decide what the selling price should be. So and this is something which I think has come up in last 4 or 5 months that I am talking to people, is where is my money going? I estimated, I'll give you a very practical example. There is a company sending very highly technical fabricated walls for labs and hospitals. Now these are very highly priced, highly profitable walls that we are talking about, and these walls are supposed to be sent to foreign countries, and they are supposed to be sent in a container. Now what happens is, as usual, we have a production and planning mismanagement. The customer has started building the lab or a hospital in Egypt. What he says, that my first floor is ready, I want, send me whatever you have. Then what you do, you rush your order, you collect whatever you have, you put it in a container and send it to them. The container is not full. And then you do the same thing 8 times. Whereas you have calculated your costs on the basis that the whole thing will be going in one go. Now, this is where the costs will be different than what you're planning. Now, this is what you have to give consideration to, and this is what you will be experiencing and experimenting in deciding how it should be done. I hope this was clear. I'll be taking the questions in question and answer, because I can't see that at the moment. The ABC system, most accurate so far. Management has better understanding of, because every cost has to be weighted by the by the management. It is integrated well with Six Sigma, so I think this gives you comfort, which I told you that GAAP is not really comfortable with that. It also tells you to do in-depth study of all the costs and systems, which includes your wastages and whatever thing that you can identify. And ABC system helps, because as I said, this has collected the most accurate costs of the product that has. This helps in deciding what is the benchmarking of other products that you have, right? You develop one product, have its ABC analysis done, and when you're developing other products or recosting other products, you benchmark them, and then you decide, what are the decisions to be taken. There are certain disadvantages, like GAAP is not very comfortable with that. The decision making has to be done very judiciously. The cost analysis has to be done but it's a process which is evolving. It's a process which is not 100%, like, on any cost. There could be two managers having two different opinions. There could be two directors having three different opinions. However, it is very close to what we can understand as an accurate cost, right? So, as I said, Six Sigma is comfortable, GAAP is not comfortable, but they are not against it. Then implementation challenges. There are certain softwares available for ABC analysis, which I'll show you the list of, which includes SAP also. The initial implementation, in initial analysis, and how much the consultant understands your business, etc., etc. But these are the challenges that can be overcome. These are the people who are providing the softwares for ABC analysis. Lastly, generally, you can share this. This is the cost ascertainment chart that needs to be prepared at the time of deciding the accuracy of cost. Whereas once you have decided the cost, what is important is identify the activities, and to identify cost of activities which we did per unit, identify what is the driver and what is the cost allocated to cost objects. Activity, cost of activity, cost of drivers, and then cost to be allocated to drivers. This will give you a perfect activity-based costing for the products that you have, right? Thank you very much. I'll take a few questions.
Sir, I actually have one query. The last time when you were discussing what it was about multiple product cost.
Right.
So, sir, in that case, when you have a multiple product, so is multiple product, isn't ABC costing better than the multiple product costing? Because I feel it gives you a much more detailed clarification on, how to sell the product, or, is the product good enough to be continued or offered for sale. So I just have a bit confusion.
No, absolutely. I mean, the confusion is mainly because when we talked about multiple product, it was a costing principle that we were talking about. Whereas ABC costing is a decision-making tool. They are alike, but if you use ABC analysis for multiple product costing, your multiple product costing will be more accurate. This is a method where multiple product costing is a process by which you collect the costs.
Okay.
Yeah, I can explain, most importantly, what multiple product costing does is that it collects the cost and it applies basic. For example, there are two products produced, and at multiple product costing, what we do is we go to the general practitioner telling him that I got a sore throat, right? But when you go to the person for ABC analysis, he is going to ask you, where did you have the ice cream? Did you have ice cream and cold drink together? Did you have, whereas in multiple product costing, what we'll do is that we'll take total cost of ice cream and cold drink, and then we'll apportion it on the basis of sales value or product units. So multiple product costing with the help of ABC analysis will be more accurate than going in a general absorption basis.
All right.
I hope
Understood,
that's clear.
sir.
Right.
Yeah, sir. Understood. Right. I got my point.
Right.
Sir, I don't see any question
right
here.
So we'll let everybody go. Reshma, madam wants to cook something. Rasam ille?
No rasam.
Okay, no
Thank
problem.
you.
So Karamir, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I think costing is a very vast subject, and it's very important to identify, and the the cost needs to be identified very accurately with the tools. I'm sure everybody has their own way of doing a costing, but now since we have discussed so many tools, I think this will give a better explanation to the activities that we've been doing, and also I believe it will help in more accurate decision making. So it's amazing, sir.
Right. Thank you very much, Karamir. I mean, I'll just add to that is a very simple example I will end up with is when you hire a salesman, don't hire a salesman without clear understanding of what he is going to do. If you are bringing in the machine, don't bring the machine in just because you think you are going to increase the sales, right? So do this. I mean, the second example, first example that we did, and second example we discussed about is whenever you are doing any product related activity, think, and the only purpose I have to convey is that always think of cost. Always think, as I said, if multinational company hires even a secretary, they want to know how much sales I'm going to increase. What is the cost
Correct.
I'm going to increase and how it's going to impact, because eventually every cost is going to impact on your profit. So every cost should also impact on your sales.
Correct, sir.
All right.
Right.
Thank you
Correct.
very much. Thank you, Reshma madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you
you,
so
sir.
much. It was an amazing session.
Sure.
Again.
Yeah, so we have all the participants also thanking you, sir, from Shreyans, from Dr. Nair, from
Right.
Nisha ma'am. So they have all been really, real Menon Mantra loyalists, because every session we've been seeing, attending them so loyally, so regularly. Thank you, attendees. I'm sorry, Anil sir is again traveling today, but many thanks for your presence, and many thanks, sir, for your wonderful session. I got to learn quite a bit.
Thank you. Appreciate. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night.